I'm not gonna lie, I was having a bad day and I needed to pick me up. So I rolled my eyes into the back of my head and I searched through my brain to try to find a show I could watch to cheer myself up. And then it hit me. I should watch Keys to the VIP. I'm gonna be honest, I used to watch this show primarily as a joke. It is on the Comedy Network after all, but I've only seen a couple of episodes and I had a lot of fun watching them back then. And after watching a couple now, I decided I wanted to make a video to talk about it. Now I know what you're thinking. What the hell is Keys to the VIP? Well, it's a Canadian competition show where two self-proclaimed players battle it out in a nightclub with hopes of meeting and picking up women, while in another club across the street for expert pickup artists watch and commentate to determine which person did a better job at picking up women. There are 3 rounds per episode, and each one has a different challenge criteria the competitors must meet, and if they do well enough, they're declared the victor. Yeah, it's as bad as it sounds. I'm gonna be upfront and honest with you guys. I don't condone any of the actions that any of the players or the judges in the show take. I actually think that pickup artists are pretty pathetic. So I'm pretty biased against everybody in this from the start. Let me give you a quick rundown of how this YouTube video is gonna be structured. So I picked 3 episodes of this show randomly on YouTube to watch. I ended up recording myself reacting to the show, but it ended up devolving into mostly just me laughing at the awkward and unnerving situations these dudes would get themselves in. So I'm so sorry I couldn't be more insightful while I was watching it live. I was just having too much fun. So before we begin, I think it's important that we get to meet the judges that are on the show. The show actually does a really good job of explaining them.
There's Alan, the cold, calculated master of pickup analysis. Peaches, an ex-all-star jock-inspired seduction specialist. Sheldon, the mysteriously coy and unorthodox philosopher. And Chris, a hopelessly romantic man of integrity. Together, they will closely critique each player's performance.
You heard that right. Each one of the judges represents one of the 4 corners of the male psyche. They're sleazy, sporty, creepy, and sweetie, I guess? I don't know. He's a hopeless romantic. So Chris's whole thing is that he is a gentleman and he tries to treat women with respect. Now, I ended up picking up 1 episode from each season. Like I said earlier, I've already seen this show, but I actually hadn't seen any of the episodes that I watched for this video. So I'm actually pretty excited about it. But let's get started with season 1, episode 7, Eric the Great versus Pretty Boy Floyd. Or sorry, Pretty Boy Ford. Pretty Boy Ford. Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Ford. So the first thing I want to mention about the first season's episodes, and I remember this from back when I watched this the first time, is that season 1 episodes have really big season 1 energy, which is like they didn't really know what they wanted to do when they first got it started. So to kind of start this episode off, I want to explain the structure of the show. So each player that's participating in the game gets a little intro video, and each one of their intro videos is about how they respect the game and how they treat women when they're going out to pick them up.
Once I get a girl out of the club, this is the perfect place for me to show off my music, sort of have a few drinks, get her in that vibe that I want her to be in, and the magic happens from there. Guys, this just in. Stop bringing your girls to your mama's basement. Get yourself a studio. I'm pimping some girls tonight.
One of the things you're going to notice about the guys on the show is that each one of them has like the one thing that they're really good at, and they try to like stick to that thing in order to like, I guess, pick up women easier. Maybe they've tried that tactic in the past and it worked out really well for them. But Eric keeps trying to sing, and every time, I'm not kidding, they show him trying to sing, it is just a bunch of mumbling garbage just pouring out of his mouth.
It's my birthday, I want to sing a song. I want to sing for me, all together.
Dude, chill.
Who overwhelm you with the touchy-feely coming out of the gate.
Oh yeah, he's right in there, right? Let me.
At the end of this one, in the challenge that they were doing, I literally don't remember what the challenge was. I'm so sorry. But what happens is that Pretty Boy Ford approaches 2 people who are probably friends. and he's talking to one of them, and she says, "Do you have a friend that you could introduce me to?" And the judges start like making jokes.
You know who I'd go get? The guy I'm playing against. That's the perfect time to bring him over and say, Eric, here's how it's done.
So Ford goes and gets Eric the Great, and Eric the Great immediately starts trying to pick up on the girl that Ford was hitting on. And Eric is the sleaziest, creepiest dude, right? So he ends up kind of like embarrassing himself, and it ends up making Ford look a lot better. And then Ford ends up winning.
This is game. This was tactful.
Yeah, it was
this
very
was
tactful.
cerebral.
Yeah.
And this was a slap in the face to his opponent.
Yeah.
You know how good I am?
Yeah.
I'll pick up for you. Yeah, exactly.
Tastes like chicken. I'm going over the urinal. I'll be right back.
It's fine. Maybe it's because I'm not a pickup artist. I don't understand the process. That's the issue, I suppose. But Ford ends up winning the competition, which I guess I agree with. I don't know. In Keys to the VIP, there is no winner. I guess there's just like one dude who's like a little bit better at
Boy Ford.
flirting or being more aggressive with women than the other. And I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but I forgot until I rewatched the episode, is that the winner of the show gets a VIP experience where they get to go and hang out at a nightclub with a bunch of women that are paid to be around them. But they do like a little photo shoot and like a little video thing where they play the theme song to the show, and they show them all dancing and having fun, pouring bottles on each other. And I don't know, that's pretty much it for season 1. Unfortunately, like I said, season 1 is kind of meh. And season 2 and season 3 is where the show really picks up. And that being said, let's jump right in to season 2. So this episode, we get to see Keegan the Playboy versus Jonathan the Stylist. Everybody has a cute little nickname in this show too, and I absolutely hate it.
Up first, Keegan the Playboy.
What's good, guys? My name is Keegan. Everybody calls me Key. What's up, guys? This is it. Welcome to my world. Yo, check this out. I love clothes. This is what separates me from everybody else. Bam! Check that out.
Once you actually get that hot female that every man in the room wants, that gives you like the best feeling, like you're floating on wings or something.
And now, Jonathan the Stylist.
Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Jonathan, I'm a hairstylist, and this is my salon.
Because it's easier to get an orgasm that way.
I don't know if I want to hear this stuff. Growing up, I've constantly had lots of girlfriends. It's always been like that, and it always will be. And that's just it, man. Sorry.
Just right off the bat, I will say I think Jonathan the Stylist sucks. And Keegan, like,
Completely oblivious.
although I don't want to say anything nice about these people, Keegan, like, at least looks like he's a little bit more friendly. I might be the only person that feels this way, but I don't hate the music on the show. And the song that's like going on right now, I actually kind of like. A lot of the music on this reminds me of songs that would appear in games that were on the Sega Dreamcast, if you remember that console. But they've all kind of got like this early 2000s like electronic dance vibe, and I'm not like a really big fan of that style of music, but it's kind of a bop. And I caught myself while I was watching the show kind of like moving along to the music a bit. I don't know, I enjoyed it. So the first challenge that they have to do in this episode is the plastic surgery challenge. They have to approach a woman and try to get their phone number by opening with them having received plastic surgery on their lips, I guess?
In round 1, each player must obtain a kiss while confessing to recent plastic surgery on his lips. Make it happen, boys.
Yeah, it's nice, eh? It's nice outside.
It's gorgeous.
Hey, can you answer a question for me?
What's up?
Like, okay, can you tell? Okay, I'm not joking. I just had plastic surgery on my lips. I had collagen, like...
You're joking.
No, I'm not joking.
Jonathan doesn't do a great job selling himself. I can't believe I'm reviewing these pickup artists right now.
Coming up after
This
the break.
graphic isn't aligned properly, and I know that's a huge nitpick, but it's driving me nuts. Okay, so one of the things that season 2 did different, that they added to the show that season 1 did not have, is the secrets of seduction.
You want to know the simplest tip for getting the ladies to notice you at the bar? Increase your social value.
And so in each episode, one of the judges will demonstrate or give advice on a secret of the trade, how to get out there and get a woman the way that they would do it. The first one is about increasing social value. And one of the things that Peaches says is that you could bring like your friends. You have to have a lot of women around you, but he's like, bring your friends, bring your sister's friends. And I was like, why would you want to drag your sister's friends to the club to use them as social currency? It just seems so weird. Okay, so this round is about recovering after you've insulted the girl you're trying to hit on. And what the judges want to see from you is you tell the girl that her hair and her makeup suck, and then you gotta try to flip it and get a phone number out of it.
Looking very nice. Very nice. Of course, well, your hair doesn't fit your face. Keegan. You couldn't pull it back because you're extremely beautiful.
This episode was a lot better than the first one, in my opinion. I had a lot more fun watching this one. I felt like I was a lot more engaged, and I was having more fun watching these dudes just like strike down. I think that like after the first season, the cast of characters that they brought in were much more willing to kind of put themselves into these like humiliating situations, and that made it a lot more fun for me as a viewer to sit through. And this like continues into season 3 as well, which I really like about season 3. And that's not to say that there's bad episodes of season 1. If you guys like this one, let me know in the comments, because I have one saved up that I want to touch on in a future video that I would really want to do. But let me know what you think down in the comments.
In round 3, each player must seduce the woman his competitor has introduced him to. Play nice, boys.
Okay, and then the last round of this episode is kind of uneventful. They have to play each other's wingman, which I think is like a good concept in theory, but the execution is like super sloppy. Like I said, it's really weird trying to critique some of these like really embarrassing things these guys have to do. But so like Keegan has to introduce Jonathan, and then Jonathan has to introduce Keegan. It ends up working out better for Keegan, and Jonathan just kind of does a Jonathan thing. Keegan, or Keegs as I like to call him now, ends up winning. I didn't actually see this because I ended before the end of the credits while I was recording, but there is a little alpha male jump scare at the end of the credits. So I guess that there is a company named Alpha Male that was involved in this. Oh my God. All right, so for this episode, we have Crazy Joe Luca versus Malcolm the X. Which, between the two of them so far, I'm going to be honest, I don't like either one of these guys. Out of all the episodes I've watched, I'm going to say that this one was definitely my favorite, I guess. Oh, also one thing too that's different about this one, and they show this at the intro, is that they win a ring now, which is really cool. I guess you could put that on your finger and display it when you go to the club. To me, it looks just like they cut off a piece of like tube steel and then softened it up so that way someone could fit it on their finger. It doesn't look super exciting or anything like that, but I mean, if you wanted to be on the show, I guess season 3 is the one to be in, because you get a little bonus goodie for you get a little bonus treat for winning. One thing I noticed while watching the show is that I feel like Malcolm is the living embodiment of like an eye roll.
There you have it. I'm the kind of guy that when you were in high school and you had popular friends, you were calling me every night to figure out what you were doing.
Those eyebrows.
All right, here's Joe Luca, baby.
Okay, so the first challenge that they have to do in this one, in round 1, is the laugh factor, which is a thing we've already seen. So like I said earlier, we got a lot of overlap with the different challenges in this. Hopefully the next time I do one of these videos, I'll get a bit more variety in it. Joe needs to tell a joke, and I don't know if he was making this up on the spot, but he starts talking about how, he's like, look up in the sky.
All right, so if you look up in the sky, what do you see?
Black.
What do they call that?
Sky.
What else?
Air.
They call it space, right?
Yeah.
So you know all the garbage on the planet? What do we do with it? We keep it on the planet. Sasha, shoot the shit out there because it's space.
That's great, yeah.
Why don't we just send our garbage out into space? And then right when he said that, I remember like my mind, I had like a repressed memory open up in my brain of being back in middle school and learning about space. And there's actually a lot of trash in space, and I found a link to a website that explains it. It's from the Britannica, which I think is like a reliable source. I mean, I know that's like a thesaurus company. They make books. They're like making encyclopedias or something. So now it's Malcolm's turn to come in and try to do the exact same thing that Joe did. And I'm going to be honest. Malcolm introduces himself a little bit better. He has this really stupid joke that he makes about like penguins breaking icebergs. And he's like, that's an icebreaker or something.
Sorry, would you mind if I ask you a question? All right, really quickly. What do you call a 3,000-pound penguin? An icebreaker. I'm Malcolm.
Oh, you know what? Does he want white or red wine with that cheese? Like, seriously.
But then he mentions that he is filming a movie.
I'm from LA. I'm just here shooting a movie for like a month. I'll tell you, but you have to promise not to laugh. I'm shooting American Pie 7. Undeclared.
I'm a bit of an American Pie expert, and I'm not like proud of that by any means, but I've seen a lot of the American Pie movies. I've actually seen, I think, every single one of them, unfortunately. But so I looked it up, and American Pie 7 is actually the Book of Love. And I've seen the Book of Love. It's not a good movie. I don't recommend watching it unless you want like a trash bag, garbage dumpster, nasty comedy for young adults and college-age students. You didn't know that you were dealing with an American Pie expert. Good lie, Malcolm, but you aren't tricking me.
They made that many?
I think he's the guy who goes home with apple pie.
Anyways, though, he ends up like not doing very well. I mean, neither did Joe, I guess, either. They end up saying that Malcolm won because he got the girl to laugh with the joke that he told, whereas Joe was just like saying a bunch of incoherent babble about space garbage. Okay. Okay. And so the next secret of seduction that we get to learn about in this episode is about picking up the bartender. They're at work. They're working. They're trying to make money so that way they can pay for rent. They can pay for their livelihood. Just let them work. Don't bother them. You can be nice to them. You can be cordial to them, but don't pick up on the bartender. They have to deal with so much extra garbage at work. Just don't do it. Don't pick up on a bartender. Let them do their job. Let them work because that's what they came to work to do. They don't want to get harassed. They don't want to be bothered. Just let them work. Okay, so this next challenge that they have to do is, I don't remember what the name of it was, but they get like a little digital camera prop.
In this round, each player must use a digital camera to capture essential moments. Good luck, boys.
And Joe ends up like not doing a great job at it. And I guess Malcolm does like a better job. And when I'm saying like they're doing good jobs and they're doing better jobs than each other, I'm not saying that like I agree with what they're doing by any means. I'm just saying that like in terms of the competition and the rules that are laid out, one of them is performing better than the other one.
All right, guys, we got a great game. It's 1-1. It's a third round. Someone's going to win it here. Chris, what's the last game?
Yeah, this one's sweet. It's called The Ex-Lover. We're sending in an actress, and she's still in love with our player.
All right, up next, Joe Luca, baby.
They hired an ex-lover, which is an actress who is not related or has had any relation with these two before, but they kind of prepped her and said, hey, this is crazy Joe Luca. Stay as far away from him as possible. And then this is Malcolm the ex, which I just realized right now what his name is in reference to, and it really pisses me off a lot. So Malcolm and Joe are gonna have to deal with this ex-lover. And so the person that they hired actually does a really good job. She's really convincing. I hope that she ended up getting some like acting work out of this. And once again, I hope that she got paid well.
Los Angeles. Hey. Yeah. Sorry. What's your name? Hold on. Listen.
Joe handles it a different way. He puts a cigarette in his hair. And then Malcolm kind of like leans into it a little bit. And he's like, yes, well, what can I say? You know, I'm a good lover boy, I guess. So after the judges deliberate,
There's nothing manly about him. Chris?
We send in our ex-lover, and she's meant to build the value of the player, and Joe Luca dropped that completely, whereas Malcolm, he did embrace it, and it really rose his stock. So I do have to give this third game to Malcolm for sure.
But Joe's been in the game for a long time, and he made far too many mistakes. Malcolm, in this game, seized the opportunity, he was aware of his surroundings, and he had enough intelligence to push it forward to a positive ending.
His skills in lying were shown right there. He pretended he knew her and it was a great night and he said he got wild and drunk and he ran with it and the women loved it.
Yeah, and you know what? Joe Luca really kind of showed his colors here. He really has no idea what he's doing. I mean, let's just be blatant about it. So, I don't know. Chris, who do you think won this game?
Well, I was going for Joe from the beginning, but I do see the potential, Malcolm. And Malcolm, you stop lying to girls and you might actually become a gentleman one day.
You know, I think Malcolm has more potential. He could come back a year or two from now and be able to really wow us. I gotta give it to Malcolm.
Malcolm just hit the bar and he delivered a great performance for us tonight. Gianluca, 10 years to prepare that? Come on.
All right, guys, let's raise the glass to Malcolm, to potential, and to the future.
after the judges deliberate, they determine that Malcolm is the winner, and they send Malcolm with his new ring off to a Florida paid-for party vacation where he gets to hang out with a bunch of paid people who get to pour champagne on him, where he stands around shirtless with his big necklace on, and it's... What did you expect at this point? It gets... man. Thank you so much for watching. This is my first attempt at a video like this, and I want to make more in the near future. If you enjoyed the video, like it, leave a comment, and consider subscribing. More coming soon.